I started noticing my wife spending hours on LinkedIn, but she never brought up anything about work. One night, curiosity got the best of me. I looked over her shoulder and saw her flirting with her ex in the DMs. I kept calm and asked, "Password or divorce?" She didn't say a word, just locked her phone and rolled over. The next morning, she woke up to find my side of the closet empty and divorce papers on the kitchen table. It's weird how your brain catches on before you even realize something's off. For months, I noticed my wife, Allison, getting super into career development. 3, sometimes 4 hours a night, just glued to LinkedIn. But she never mentioned any new job leads, networking, or even a single industry event. I'm Alex, 41. I own a company that restores historic buildings across the country. Allison is 39, a veterinary radiologist at a specialty animal hospital. We've been married 11 years. No kids by choice, so we had the freedom to travel and build our careers. The first sign something was off came 6 months ago. She started bringing her work tablet home. She'd never done that before. When I asked, she said it was a new protocol. They had to be available for emergency consults on tough cases. I didn't question it. Trust had never been an issue. Then came the LinkedIn thing. Every night after dinner, she'd head to the couch or our room and scroll endlessly. If I walked by, she'd tilt the screen away or quickly switch apps. "Just catching up on vet journals," she'd say with a wave. Then came the password change. We'd always shared phone passcodes. Not because we were snooping. It just made things easier. Suddenly her phone had a new code she forgot to tell me about. I brushed it off, told myself I was overthinking. Maybe she was just really driven lately. Until last Wednesday. I got home early from a meeting. Allison was in the bedroom, so locked in on her phone. She didn't hear me come in. I glanced at the screen over her shoulder. That wasn't LinkedIn. It was a DM thread. I saw a man's profile photo, and the messages made my stomach turn. "I miss how your body feels against mine." Her reply, "Patience. Working on untangling things here. It's complicated." He answered, "A year's a long time to waste with the wrong person." I stepped back into the hallway, heart pounding, took a breath, counted to 10, then walked in like nothing had happened. "Hey, how was your day?" I asked casually. She jumped, locked her phone. "Fine. The usual. How was your meeting?" "Ended early. What are you working on?" I nodded toward her phone. "Oh, LinkedIn. Boring work stuff." I sat on the edge of the bed, kept my tone calm. "Allison," I saw the messages. "Who's David?" Her face went from shock to defensive in seconds. "You were spying on me?" "No. I walked in and saw your screen." "Who is David?" She sat up straighter. "He's just an old friend. We're catching up." "I miss how your body feels against mine is catching up." Her eyes narrowed. "You're taking that out of context." "What context makes that okay between a married woman and another man?" She hesitated. "We have history. It's complicated." "Complicated how?" "Either you respect our marriage or you don't." She crossed her arms. "It's just harmless flirting. Everyone does it." "I don't," I said calmly. "And neither should you." She let out a frustrated sigh. "God, Alex, you're blowing this way out of proportion." "Oh, we're just talking now." I asked, still keeping my voice steady. "Talking about how he misses your body? About how you've wasted 11 years with the wrong person?" "That's not what you think," she said sharply. "You don't understand." "You're right," I replied. "I don't understand how you could throw away my trust like this." "Trust? Please." She let out a cold, bitter laugh, a sound I'd never heard from her before. "It's just some texts. It's not like I cheated." "An emotional affair is still cheating." I shot back. "And from what I read, it's clear you're planning for more than just texting." "You saw maybe 10 seconds of conversation," she snapped. "You have no idea what's really going on." I looked her straight in the eyes. "Then enlighten me. Show me your phone. Let me see the whole story." Her face hardened. "Absolutely not. I have a right to privacy." "Not when it involves another man talking about your body and tearing down our marriage." I said firmly. You're overreacting, she scoffed. Am I? Then prove it. Show me there's nothing to hide. She clutched her phone tighter. I'm not giving you my phone just because you're feeling insecure. That's controlling behavior, Alex. I took a deep breath. Let me make one thing crystal clear, Allison. This isn't about control. It's about trust. And that trust is already broken. Then I said the words that ended everything. Password or divorce. Your choice. She stared at me, unblinking, then slowly locked her phone and rolled over in silence. I'm going to sleep, she said flatly. We can deal with your trust issues tomorrow. In that moment, I knew I didn't need to see more. I didn't need to hire a private investigator or comb through her phone records. Her reaction said it all. I waited until she was asleep, her breathing slow and even. Then I got up and went to my study. This wasn't the first time I'd had doubts. 3 months earlier, when Allison's behavior had started to change, I quietly met with my attorney, just to understand what my options were if things went downhill. Now, at almost midnight, I called him at home. I apologized for the late call, but he knew me well. He understood it was serious. We discussed everything, and he agreed to have preliminary divorce paperwork ready for me to review first thing in the morning. At 5:30 a.m., I went to our closet and packed what I needed. Clothes for a couple of weeks. Documents. Irreplaceable keepsakes. I loaded it all into my car. Then I went to the kitchen and followed the plan I'd formed overnight. First, I moved half the money from our joint accounts into my new personal account, a perfectly legal move in our state as part of pre-divorce asset protection. I left the other half untouched so Allison would have access to funds during the transition. Second, I followed up with my lawyer. The papers had been drafted based on our call and finalized during the night. He arranged for electronic filing once the courts opened at 9 a.m., and a courier was scheduled to drop off my copy by 8:30. Third, I called my office manager, who starts work early. I asked her to make a few arrangements. Allison's health insurance was through my business, and she sometimes used a company vehicle for emergency hospital visits. Legally, her coverage would continue until divorce was finalized, but we arranged to revoke vehicle access after the standard 30-day grace period. Fourth, I emailed our property manager to let him know. I let her know I'd be moving out temporarily, but as a sole legal owner of the condo, purchased before our marriage using profits from a restoration project I completed before we even met, and maintained solely with money from my separate account during our entire marriage, I would continue covering all payments. Allison would have 60 days to find new living arrangements, which was twice the legal requirement in our state. By 8 a.m., the divorce papers had arrived. I placed them neatly on the kitchen table with a short note. Allison, your silence was your choice. These are mine. You have 60 days to make other living arrangements. All communication should go through my attorney. Alex, I set my house key and wedding ring on top of the papers, took one final look around the home we'd shared, and walked out the door. By 8:43 a.m., my phone lit up with dozens of messages. Allison had woken up to find my side of the closet empty and divorce papers in the kitchen. Her calls, texts, and emails came in rapid fire. This is insane. Call me now. You're throwing away 11 years over nothing. You can't just kick me out. This is my home, too. Pick up your phone. I didn't respond. Instead, I checked into the extended stay hotel I'd booked earlier that morning, set up my laptop, and got back to work as planned. Allison's next move was predictable. She started calling everyone, my parents, my sister, even my old college roommate, telling them I'd lost it and was making wild accusations about her innocent friendship with an old colleague. But I'd seen that coming. Before she had a chance to spin the story, I'd already sent short, factual messages to the people closest to me. Allison and I are divorcing due to infidelity. I have evidence but prefer to keep it private. I'm safe and staying elsewhere for now. I'll share more when I'm ready. No drama, no details, just the truth. By that evening, her tone had shifted. The anger faded into desperation. Can we please just talk about this? I'll give you my password now. It was a dumb conversation. It meant nothing. Please come home. We can fix this. I stayed silent. Her words didn't matter. Her actions had already spoken loud enough. The next day, I got a call from an unknown number. David. She had given him my private number. "Hey, man, there's been a misunderstanding," he said. "Allison and I are just old friends." Nothing physical happened. I cut him off. "Whatever you two are, it's none of my business anymore. Don't contact me again." Then I hung up and blocked him. 3 days later, Allison showed up at my office. My receptionist, who I had already filled in on the situation, stopped her in the lobby. She made a scene, crying, demanding to see me. Security escorted her out. That evening, she emailed me screenshots of their LinkedIn messages, insisting they proved she'd done nothing wrong. But they were all recent, clearly cleaned up, an obvious attempt at damage control. What she didn't know was that I kept our home's Wi-Fi connection logs as part of regular maintenance. Every device that connected to the network logged basic data, no content, just timestamps and which services were used. The log showed her devices connecting to LinkedIn servers for hours, right during the same time she claimed she was reviewing medical cases. Even more telling, her work tablet had been connected to our Wi-Fi during most of those sessions, despite her claim that it was used strictly for emergency consultations. I didn't need to see the actual messages. Thousands of messages weren't necessary. The patterns alone told the truth. About a week into our separation, Allison's animal hospital announced budget cuts. Her job was one of the first to go. The timing couldn't have been worse. Now, with no income, she had to find both a new job and a new place to live. I told my attorney to make sure her health insurance would continue under COBRA as the law requires, and I agreed to cover the initial premium as part of the eventual settlement. Allison tried to use that situation for sympathy, sending messages saying I had abandoned her when she needed me most. I didn't reply. I just forwarded them to my lawyer. Soon after, my attorney told me she'd hired a tough lawyer, one known for going after large settlements. Their opening demand? Half the value of the condo, monthly spousal support, and a share of my business. My lawyer responded with a solid stack of documents. The deed, showing I bought the condo 2 years before we got married with profit from a restoration project I completed on my own. Bank records proving every mortgage payment came from my separate account. Our prenuptial agreement, which clearly stated that infidelity, yes, even emotional cheating, especially when paired with intent to leave the marriage, limited specific financial claims. After that, their demand shrank quickly. The 90-day waiting period passed, and the rest of the process moved forward. In the end, the settlement was fair. Allison got a one-time payment equal to 6 months of her old salary, her personal belongings, and health insurance coverage for 6 months. As per our policies, her access to company resources ended immediately. The divorce was finalized in under 6 months. Faster than most contested divorces in our state, which often drag on for 9 to 12 months. It's been a year now. I moved back into the condo after fully redecorating it. There's nothing left that reminds me of Allison. Last week, I got a letter from her, handwritten, sent through my lawyer. She wrote about regrets, mistakes, and wanting a second chance. She said she still loved me. That David had been a stupid choice she'd regret forever. I didn't respond. Some bridges, once burned, should stay ashes. People often ask if I regret acting so quickly. If maybe I should have gone to counseling, given her another chance, tried to forgive. My answer is always the same. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Allison showed me exactly who she was when she silently locked her phone and rolled over that night. She chose secrecy over honesty, lies over truth. That's when our marriage ended. I just handled the paperwork afterward. I don't hate her. I don't waste time on resentment. But I don't regret my decision either. Self-respect requires boundaries. When those boundaries are broken, a real man doesn't argue, beg, or bargain. He walks away and starts over. Edit. Thanks to everyone for the kind words and support. I've seen some common questions, so here are quick answers. Why didn't I check her phone while she was asleep? Because I didn't. Need to. Her refusal to show me was all the confirmation I needed. I'm not interested in digging through betrayal. I just need to recognize it when I see it. Was the 60-day move-out period too harsh? No. The condo was 100% mine, bought before we got married, with funds from a project I did alone. It's considered separate property in most states and was maintained solely by me throughout our marriage that I gave her double the legal move-out notice and left her with immediate access to half of our joint accounts to cover expenses. Third, did I ever find out who David was? He was an old classmate from veterinary school. In her mind, he became the one that got away. They reconnected after he viewed her LinkedIn profile. The sad irony? He's married now with 3 kids, and he was never going to leave his family. Allison was just feeding his ego. Fourth, for those asking whether the router logs were legal, I set up and maintained our home Wi-Fi network, and basic connection logging was standard for troubleshooting. I never accessed any message content or used spyware. I only track what services were being accessed, like LinkedIn, and for how long. That's it. Fifth, some people wonder if I rushed into divorce. What they don't know is I'd already spoken with my lawyer months earlier when her behavior started to shift. I wasn't acting on impulse. I had prepared for this outcome long before that final night. 6, people would call me cold or too calculated. But when your spouse is having an emotional affair and refuses to admit it, even when caught, what are you supposed to do? Beg for the truth? Pretend it's not happening? I chose clarity over chaos. I chose to cut things off cleanly instead of dragging out the pain. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do, for both of you, is make a clean break. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a new tale. Got thoughts or a similar experience? Drop in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay blessed, take care.